Yeah, just tell us a little bit about you, who you are.
My name's Kelly, and I am in Oregon, and I'm actually a therapist myself. I've made some huge changes through this work, so I'm excited to share if it's helpful for anyone else.
What was going on in your life that made you want to work together?
I was at a point where I had struggled with an eating disorder for many, many years in my early, younger life and have had a huge break from that. Still had a lot of really rigid thinking around food and exercise. Had my partner gone for a long time. It was kind of the middle stress point in COVID. So a lot of stuff was surfacing, like old stuff. I'm motivated to really get true freedom and like full freedom, not just like, oh, great, I don't have an eating disorder and I don't have these like specific behaviors, but like to actually have real peace and real freedom. I knew that I have had work to do around that. Doing the work that I do, it's really important to me that I can only take people as far as I've been. So a lot of fine tuning that in COVID just kind of were highlighted. And I was like, I'd really like to get some support because I haven't needed support for this type of thing in a long time. I was feeling frustrated because I feel like I know what I need to do. I like this is part of the work that I do. So really frustrated and definitely some shame around that for being like, this is something I can help other people with very easily. And I'm feeling stuck. And also excitement because like it just feels good to finally deal with things. So that there's always an element of excitement.
What was the biggest kind of breakthrough that you had with the mindset or the energy around all this?
I think some courage to let go of some of the control, trusting that when I'm in alignment, they're going to be okay, which is really hard. Or that was a challenge before. It's just not being overly rigid and having some more freedom. And I feel like I have much more spaciousness around exercising when I'm like from a truly inspired place. That's been significant, and sense of self-love that it's not like I can't just like control this body and I like it if it's a certain way, but it's like I genuinely really care about it and appreciate it more. A lot of the exercises really hit home, and just having a consistent practice and having a group that accountability was I found really motivating and is key. I'm way less critical if I like mess up, right? Like it doesn't turn into this huge thing that I'm like upset with myself for doing. Yeah, like I had this and not like, well, maybe it wasn't great. Don't feel totally aligned about it, but I can move on. That used to turn into like self-criticism and probably going into another like eating something else that I wasn't happy with. So that's been significant. And I would say that I have more space around exercise because it's like, I was an athlete, so I've trained for so many years that I have really rigid rules around that and like what it has to look like. And I would say that has calmed down like quite a bit. It's a work in progress. I'm like much happier doing it. And that's been really sweet to really fall in love with a lot of that again.
And how do you approach your body now as opposed to before?
Slowing down to listen instead of knowing that I like have the willpower to do something, or I have the self-discipline to like do a certain thing. It's like actually stopping to check in and listen is much easier now. I don't just like blow through it.
And how did this impact your business or the way you're coaching your clients now?
I think it's so significant. It's just like really being inspired to be able to hold better space for other people, because I work with a lot of women and a lot of people with food and body. And I used to feel like, oh, like I can only take you so far here. So I have much more like a grounded confidence with that, feeling like I'm pretty far. I have more to go, but I'm really pretty far on this journey. So that feels really good to be able to be available to people and not like refer out for things that I like thought I was ready for, but needed to have more up leveling on myself. And just being more centered. Like, I think anytime I'm more in alignment and more in tune with myself, I'm a different person in everything that I do.
What were like the biggest sort of tangible wins for you throughout the program?
Honestly, it's my self talk, like for me internally. So my self talk has shifted. The slowing down is a big tangible for me. And I would say my body too. My body's actually not that much different, a little bit. And it feels like a celebration to even say that it's like, yeah, like I'm feeling good. Like I made some small physical changes. Something else that just popped up as you said that is the not snacking. But like, it's not like this, like if I'm hungry, sure. But just snacking and like balancing my meals in a way that it was very rigid, just because I was safe within that. And so like taking away the snacks, I was like so intimidated just thinking it would turn into like overeating or then undereating again, or this weird cycle. And being able to really sit with like, okay, I can handle everything, and really enjoying having the accountability to actually like, let me just see what happens when I sit with this discomfort because I'm not doing my routine eating.
What was the favorite part? What was your favorite part about the program?
Just the relationship with the body part was really what I needed. Just this kindness, and from a place of not trying to change it. Like that felt good to really settle into that. I think a lot of your instruction, like the videos that you put up in the group when we had specific questions, I would listen to those over like multiple times if I needed to. And I just always felt like you had great coaching for the specific questions that we brought up. Like I probably got more out of that than the curriculum, even because it was just like they were so poignant to like what was arising in the present as we were doing new things. For me, it just holds me accountable and makes me put intention and thought towards it. So that was really a gift to give myself, because maybe could have focused on more, but this felt like a real gift of kindness to spend time on this and really like feel like I have much more space. Yeah.
And what would you say to someone who's like watching this and has tried every diet?
Well, given that you do have the food plans and the exercise, it's like it includes that too, if that's what you want, but it's just has the pieces that'll actually make it sustainable. I would hands down recommend, like, maybe if you've never tried just like switching your food a little, or you've never tried exercising, that might make sense to try first. But honestly, if you've tried any of those things before and you can't stick with them, don't waste your time with more. This will get you there faster, I believe, or at least maybe if not faster, you'll be able to sustain results from really digging into the mindset piece, and having others to process with is really always so valuable. Not being alone. It's so worth it. And it translates to other areas too. It's like it's food, but like food is just the sandbox for learning about like how you are in so many other ways. So I've always thought, like, at least the past several, like food has been my greatest teacher that has just taught me so many about like so many other areas of life and how I relate to it, that this is a lot more than just about like looking differently or feeling better. It will show up in other areas.
It's never about the food, it's about everything else.
I think my only other like parting thought that I haven't mentioned much about that I really appreciated that you brought in and resonated with me is the spiritual component. Because that's why it's not about the food. It's like, whatever you believe, it can look many different ways. But for me, getting like tapped in with my intuition, when I peel back these like habits, there's a lot of intuition there that wants to like flow through. So it's felt like a very spiritual, it's opened up my spirituality in ways to not have these other habits like dominating the thoughts. I have more space, which I think is really where the results kind of just happen when you're in that place of being connected.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your wisdom and your journey and your authentic self. It's really, I know it's going to inspire women who are also on a similar journey and watching this and have been struggling with food and their relationship to.
My pleasure. And I wish freedom for all women from this struggle. It's, so I hope it does, if it, one person hears it and it's helpful. It's possible with the right support.
And where can people find you if they're interested in your work?
I am actually getting my own website up soon, so I will keep you posted. Right now, happy to be in contact. Yeah, you can look me up and DM me if you're interested.
We'll